A Survey Corps squad on a mission beyond the walls encounters a new type of Titan, one that doesn't just devour humans, but infects them with a terrifying, transformative power. The wind carried the stench of death and decay, a familiar scent for any soldier in the Survey Corps. We were 3 days out from Walrose, on a mission to scout the abandoned territories and gather information on Titan movements. Our squad, led by the hardened veteran Captain Levi, was one of the best. We'd seen our share of horrors, faced down Titans of all shapes and sizes, but nothing could have prepared us for what we found that day. I was a young recruit then, eager to prove myself, to earn my place among these hardened warriors. I still believed in the mission, in the hope of reclaiming our world from the Titans. But that belief was about to be shattered. We were exploring the ruins of an old village, its buildings reduced to rubble, its streets overgrown with weeds. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the occasional caw of a crow or the rustle of the wind through the tall grass. It was the kind of silence that pressed down on you, that made you feel like you were being watched. Then, we saw it. A Titan, unlike any we had ever encountered. It was colossal, even larger than the colossal Titan that had breached Wall Maria years ago. But it wasn't its size that was most disturbing, it was its form. Its skin was a sickly gray, covered in pulsating veins and strange, tumorous growths. Its limbs were elongated and distorted, ending in hands with too many fingers, fingers that twitched and grasped at the air. But its most terrifying feature was its head. It had no face, only a gaping maw filled with rows upon rows of razor-sharp teeth. And from that maw, a constant low whisper emanated, a sound that seemed to slither into our very minds. We froze, our blood turning to ice. Even Captain Levi, a man who had faced countless horrors without flinching, seemed unnerved by this creature. We knew, instinctively, that this was no ordinary Titan. This was something far more sinister. The Whispering Colossus, as we later came to call it, didn't attack us immediately. It simply stood there, its massive form towering over the ruined village, its faceless head swaying from side to side, its whispers filling the air. What is that thing?" I stammered, my voice barely a whisper. "I don't know," Levi replied, his voice tight with tension. "But we need to report this. Now." We tried to retreat to put as much distance as possible between ourselves and the creature. But as we moved, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. They seemed to be calling to us, beckoning us closer. "Don't listen to it," Levi commanded, his voice sharp. "It's trying to get inside our heads." But it was already too late. One by one, the members of our squad began to succumb to the whispers. They stopped, their eyes glazed over, their bodies trembling. They started to mutter to themselves, repeating the strange, guttural words that emanated from the Titan's maw. The first to fully succumb was a young soldier named Annis. He had always been a bit of a dreamer, more interested in books than in fighting. Perhaps that made him more susceptible to the whispers. Annis dropped his weapon, a vacant look in his eyes. He began to walk towards the Whispering Colossus, his movements slow and deliberate, like a sleepwalker. We tried to stop him, to pull him back, but he was stronger than he looked. He shrugged us off with ease, his eyes fixed on the Titan. Then, the transformation began. Annis's skin started to turn gray, like the Titan's. Strange growths erupted on his body, pulsing with a sickly light. His limbs elongated, his fingers multiplied, and his face began to disappear, replaced by a gaping maw filled with teeth. We watched in horror as Annis was transformed into a miniature version of the Whispering Colossus. He was no longer human, no longer one of us. He was something else, something monstrous. And then he turned on us. The transformed Anis attacked with a ferocity we had never seen before. He was faster, stronger, and more agile than any normal Titan. He moved like a predator, his elongated limbs lashing out, his multiple fingers tearing at our flesh. We fought back, but it was like fighting a nightmare. Our blades could barely penetrate his thick gray skin, and with every touch, every wound we inflicted, we felt the whispers grow stronger, felt the infection spreading through our own bodies. One by one, our squad fell. Some were devoured by Anis, their screams echoing through the ruins. Others succumbed to the whispers, their bodies transforming into the same horrific creatures. I saw my comrades, my friends, turn into monsters before my very eyes. I saw the hope in their eyes replaced by a vacant, hungry stare. I heard their voices, once familiar and comforting, now twisted into guttural whispers. Only Levi and I remained, our bodies battered, our spirits broken. We knew we couldn't defeat these creatures, not in our current state. Our only hope was to escape, to warn the others. We ran, our lungs burning, our legs screaming in protest. We ran through the ruined village, past the bodies of our fallen comrades, past the transformed horrors that were once our friends. The Whispering Colossus was still out there, somewhere in the distance. We could hear its whispers, even from afar, a constant reminder of the terror we had faced. We reached the edge of the village, the open plains stretching before us. We didn't stop running, not until we were miles away, not until the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the land. We were the only survivors. The rest of our squad, the brave soldiers of the Survey Corps, were gone, either dead or transformed into something unspeakable. Epilogue. We returned to the walls, bearing the grim news. Our report was met with disbelief, with skepticism. But Levi's word carried weight, and the evidence, the changes in our own bodies, the subtle distortions that had begun to manifest, could not be ignored. The military launched an investigation, sending out more squads to the area where we encountered the Whispering Colossus. But they found nothing. The creature and the transformed soldiers were gone, but the threat remained. We knew, deep down, that this was not the end. The Whispering Colossus was out there somewhere, spreading its infection, waiting for its chance to strike again. And sometimes, in the dead of night, when the wind howls through the streets of the city, I can still hear the whispers. They call to me, beckoning me to join them, to embrace the transformation. They promise power, an end to pain, an escape from the horrors of this world. But I know the truth. There is no escape, only the slow, agonizing descent into madness, into the silent scream of the void. And the worst part is, I can feel it happening to me. The subtle changes, the growing hunger, the whispers in the back of my mind. I don't know how much longer I can resist. How much longer before I become one of them? This is the story of the Whispering Colossus. This is the story of how humanity's fight for survival took a turn for the worse. This is a warning. Heed it well. Don't listen to the whispers. Don't look at its face. And whatever you do, don't let it touch you.